As freshers, it's very important that we showcase our potential. Companies are not looking for our experience. Companies are looking for our potential. You might think hiring is like, okay, what is that cheap resource, come work and all. But to manage someone like a fresher who doesn't have a lot of knowledge, it takes even more effort than putting an experienced person over there. You cannot do impactful work in big companies and MNCs joining as a fresher because we'll be getting a very small problem to solve. The good part about internships is when you're working in internship, you can apply to multiple other full-time roles and you can jump off. You can officially do it. You want one offer, directly apply for a job. You want 5 offers, join an internship and start applying and you get 5 offers. You have time to decide between the 5 offers. Finish your project, put your case studies out there, increase the social activity. Let LinkedIn know that you exist.
I feel you have answered this in the podcast. How do I make irrelevant experience relevant? So I will go ahead. I'll rather ask you, should I apply for internships or full-time job? I think this is not answered anything.
Irrelevant thing also will cover. It's an important thing. How much of it's there in the podcast, it still needs to be hit. I'll tell the answer later. But first, internships versus jobs. Okay. So all the people who have this question about should I apply to an internship, should I apply to a job and all that stuff, please let me give you a perspective about when do you get a job and when do you get an internship? Why do companies require interns and all that stuff? I'll tell you. There's one thing which I'll quickly remind you is as freshers, it's very important that we showcase our potential. Companies are not looking for our experience. Companies are looking for our potential. Okay. That is something which you have to really understand. When a company knows that it wants to hire someone as a fresher, they are not looking for your experience. They are looking for your potential. It's very important. Okay. And also let me remind you that all companies do not behave in the same manner. So it also depends on whom you are approaching. That is also very important. Okay. We'll get back to the point. Okay. So coming to internships versus job offers, jobs. Firstly, why do companies have internships and why do companies have jobs? That is fresher jobs. Okay. The reason why companies have internships is because companies would want to go and experiment in two ways. One, they would want to experiment with you, the candidates. Okay. They want to understand, the first perspective is they want to understand how much are you fit for the company or not. Okay. They're experimenting about you. That is the first thing. I'll explain it. But the second thing is they're experimenting their initiatives. There are some initiatives which they cannot put their full-time people on because it's too costly, because they don't know whether it will be successful, not successful and all that stuff. So they would want to utilize some interns to do that additional piece or whatever which they're experimenting where they can take the risk. You got it? So the first experimentation is on whether are you a fit to the company or not. The second experimentation is the product is something which they want to build is not something which they can take the risk of putting their full-time employees on. It's too costly. For these two reasons, companies would want to go and announce their internships. Okay. Either of these two things are not there, they will not announce internships. It's important. Because all companies do not always think like, okay, it's not that companies are always like, okay, interns, please come and it's low cost. So let us exploit them and get work done and all. That's not how it always works. Because companies know that interns cannot produce very high quality work. That means it is going to be risky. You might think hiring is like, okay, what is that cheap resource, come work and all. But to manage someone like a fresher who doesn't have a lot of knowledge, it takes even more effort than putting an experienced person over there. So just because someone is coming for cheap doesn't mean that there is no risk in the game, doesn't mean that they should not invest their time. They know it. Companies know that they are getting into a zone where they do not have guarantee that the person will give mature output of work. They know it, right? So why? The reason why I'm talking about this experimentation is because you will know what to talk to them if you know that this is what is the scenario, right? You'll be much prepared to when you have a conversation with them. Okay. So because they want to experiment with you, they would announce an internship, and if you are performing well, that is when they will go and hire you as a person. Now should you, okay, fine. And before that, why do they hire a fresher? The reason they hire a fresher is because freshers definitely come at lower cost compared to experienced people. But freshers bring new perspectives. They do not know about a lot of constraints which you're already used to. A lot of constraints which exist right now, the tech constraints, the business constraints, and all that stuff. They do not have all these constraints yet in their mind. They think free. They bring in fresh ideas. They bring in a lot of passion. A lot of experienced people, usually they jump between these. A lot of people actually enter the mode of ignorance, they're in resting position. They do only work which has been assigned on top of them and forced on them and stuff. But freshers have a lot of willingness to learn. So they are in a mode of passion, right? So that there's one reason. And there's a difference. So companies are very experimentative when it comes to interns, but the experimentation is a little lesser when it comes to fresher, but they do still do experimentation, but they're very experimentative when it comes to interns, because the mentality itself is different, because this is like a permanent baggage. An intern is not a permanent baggage. So the total mentality itself is very different, right? Okay. Sriram saying freshers role in big MNCs. First of all, my advice straightforward. I'll give the full perspective later. Don't even join MNCs as freshers. Trust me on this. Don't even join MNCs as freshers, because straightforward, MNC is a very big organization. A huge lot of stuff happens. You join as a fresher in an MNC, you will get a very, very, very small part of work and hardly any impact which you can drive. You will not have a very good portfolio to speak about. If you join a big MNC as a fresher, you will get very, very low pay. You will get much lesser than industry standards, because MNCs usually have, like, the standards, right? They can't literally give you a disproportionate amount of like what startups can do for freshers, right? If they have 5-6 LPA in their mind, that is what they'll give you. They won't give you more than that. You want about 10, 12, all these things. What I recommend, I don't even allow people to join for 10, my students, right? If you want that 12 to hit 12 as a fresher, please. This is not going to happen as freshers in MNCs. Not going to happen, right? So if they are there, then probably it's a different discussion, but generally it doesn't happen. But on top of it, please, you cannot do impactful work in big companies and MNCs joining as a fresher, because you will be getting a very, very, very small problem to solve. So please, okay. Anyway, coming back to any company which has this fresher role, they know that the people are very passionate and they bring in a lot of energy, and they can do a lot of experimentation and all that stuff. But the most important thing is they know that freshers are very much willing to learn. Okay. But since the question is about should I apply for internship versus should I apply for a full-time job, the answer is pretty straightforward. If there is a chance for you to go and apply to an internship, 100% go and apply to an internship. Because if you have never worked before, even if you've never worked before at all in any career, 100% please take an internship. No doubt about it. Go for an internship. Why? Because you have never worked anywhere. You literally have never worked anywhere. So you don't know how a company works. You don't know how stakeholders work. You have nothing. So please go and take an internship. No doubt about it. Okay. Because it's not just about, whether I'm capable of getting a full-time or not. It's not just about that. An internship gives you also the space to understand about the company, right? It's like the date which you go before going into a relationship. Yeah. I don't know how exactly it works, but whatever. Right. But yeah, the internship is not just an experiment for the company, but for you also it's an experiment. No. What if you get a job and somewhere in a very UX immature company and you're fucked? So an internship gives you also the opportunity to go and experiment with it. And internship is like 1 month into an internship, it is not working, you just jump. You get out. But a job is not like that. Right? So as a fresher, as a person who has never worked anywhere, internship is a golden opportunity for you to experiment yourself as well. And the good part about internships is when you're working in internship, you can apply to multiple other full-time roles and you can jump off. You can legally do it. You can officially do it. In fact, you should do it to create FOMO to your existing company. Yeah. So that's why internship is very, very important. Now, for those people who have worked previously, those people who are like transitioning into UX careers, right? There are some. So obviously, if given a chance, I'll ask you to take an internship, but you're in a much riskier situation. What if you don't get a job and all these things will happen? But if this is the first time which you are working as UX designer, I would still advise you to go and do an internship, because the chances of getting offers will drastically increase after you work as an intern, because companies will have the confidence that I need not do the basics to you, that I need not even teach about what a company is. If there is any problem, you should go to IT support. If there is any problem, talk to HR. This is how you write a mail. They don't have to teach basic office stuff to you. They know that they don't have to, because they have some confidence that you have worked somewhere, at least as an intern, right? So it is very, very, very important that if there is a chance that you get an internship, go and take that experimentation. Okay. Now, there's one more thing about internships. I'll talk about what kind of internships not to apply as well. I'm coming there. Just remind me about it. One more thing about internships is the pay. I have seen students who are like, oh, internship, I'll only get 20,000, 30,000. And there are people who are applying to internships of 5,000, 6,000. Absolutely don't even apply for those internships. My students, the standard is minimum 15,000. If you're not getting 15,000 for internship, don't even apply. That's my standard, right? In fact, your expectation should be around 20 to 30,000. That's what your expectation should be for your internship for my students. If you're not built your portfolio already very well, wait, invest yourself in your portfolio, talk to me, and I'll tell you whether you're ready or not. Okay. If you really need that confidence, talk to me. I'll tell you if you're ready or not. If you're not ready, I'll tell you that you're not ready for applying to those internships. But don't be desperate and apply for a 5,000 internship just because you're getting it. Remember the rule. Don't become a sweeper in a stadium when you can actually go and, play that practice match where the actual selectors will come and give a fuck about. If you become a sweeper, your entire day is spent in becoming a sweeper and you'll never be able to showcase your cricket skills. Right? So, yes. So anyway, now, the next thing I was trying to tell about pay is, I'm only getting this 20,000. If I got an internship, if I get a full-time job, obviously I'll start getting 80,000, 90,000. This is not enough for me. This is bullshit. Your internship is an experiment. It is very temporary. Only 2 to 3 months you work as an intern, right? An internship is an opportunity for you to go and learn. On top of it, get paid also. Think in this manner. Don't think the other way around, right? Because the company is experimenting with you. How they don't even trust you right now. Why will they pay? Why will they pay 60,000, 70,000 for an internship? They won't pay. That's not what the point of internship is about. If they have so much budget, they'll hire a fresher. No. Why will they hire an intern? Right? So when it comes to internship, obviously, it's not that you will get underpaid, but the focus is about experimentation for you and the company. You will get real-time exposure about how a company works, what a product manager is, what do they do, what do design teams do, all this stuff. And it'll also give you an opportunity to work on a project which is very similar to the kind of project which you're working over here, but still it will be some real project which has very good impact. Right? So if there is a chance, please go and take an internship. There are a lot of students who actually first did internships and immediately got jobs. Immediately. Good students who could have also got directly fresher jobs, but I asked them to go and take internships, and this is exactly what happened. You want one offer, directly apply for a job. You want 5 offers, join an internship and start applying, and you'll get 5 offers. You have time to decide between the 5 offers. Happened to multiple students. Yeah. So now I literally bashing all the misconceptions about taking an internship. Just because you're doing an internship doesn't mean that you're being undervalued. And I'll tell you one more point. This is for people who are transitioning from other careers. A person who is transitioning from other careers into UX design, an internship can help you in one manner. If you are in a career break, if you have taken a break, an internship gives a very, very good answer to the future recruiters about they're not talking literally about all the things which you have done in the past. Let us say you're working for some 7-8 lakhs or something like that, and you're in a totally different role. You are some business analyst or something like that, or business development or something, right? But then you've applied to another design role. What will they ask you about? Though we'll talk about how is that you can build your story and all that. I'll talk about that, which is very important. But the moment you go, they'll talk about your previous experience. They will calculate your next salary based on what you are getting previously. And there are a lot of people who are just getting 3-4 lakhs. You go there, they'll not offer you more than 7 LPA. You go with a 3 lakh, 4 lakh package. You have not done an internship. You did not take a break. You're directly applying. They will not give you more than 7. It's not easy for them to directly transition and jump off and give 12 and 13 and all that to you. It is not easy because that is how that world behaves. HRs are asked to do this. You can't give more than 100% hike. You can't give more than these kind of rules exist. So how do you bypass these things? Do an internship. Tell them that your previous experience is no more relevant. Tell them that that job, that salary is not relevant anymore. I did an internship. Whereas an intern itself, I was getting 20 to 30,000. But this is what my true value is. This is how much I would like to want. And obviously, you should also go to right places, which I'll help you with, right? But please, this internship will really help you in this direction. So if you already have working experience, don't waste further time. Just join an internship, start working there, and utilize that as a good story to tell for your future employers, right? But in what cases can you directly apply to a full-time role? It is when you actually find a very good match. That means, what does this mean? You apply to this company, which you know that they are looking for this kind of a person, and you know that you are that person. That means you have built your portfolio in a very nice manner according to your own specific skills. You spoke about, you have a good story which you have built about your previous experience, either as a student, as a person who has worked in other companies or other professions and all. If you have built a very good story, and if you know that this story matches very well with the company which you're going to have, then probably go ahead and apply for a full-time job or take a full-time role, right? But in general, this is not very easy. Finding these kind of job descriptions is not very easy. It can happen mainly through referrals, which is what my next point is about. fresher jobs, the trust is very, very low. Trust is very, very low. Therefore, referrals is a very, very, very important thing. I'll tell you the best way to get an internship: put your portfolio, increase your activity on LinkedIn, start getting inbound leads, start getting people approaching you because you have kept the case study. Example, Aditya Mishra recently. I have so many other examples also. Aditya, you're there, no?
Yes, Anadi.
Tell me, how did that company approach you? Tell the story first, quickly.
So I had some work pending from 1 year. I did some freelance work, which was really good, one of my best works, and I did not put a portfolio. So I beat my procrastination, put a portfolio. Some lead product designer saw it. He saw that, got impressed, sent me a DM and asked me to apply to their company.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, and he's in the interview process right now.
Yeah.
Right? Straightforward. This is the best way to get an internship. That is to get an inbound lead. What is the meaning of inbound lead? You put a portfolio out there, you talk about it, you be active on LinkedIn, right? And people are messaging you, hey, do you want to try our internship? Do you want to try a job or whatever? Right? The LinkedIn is filled with this. That is what HRs want to do. All the leads, the product designers, hiring managers, everyone is actively poaching, literally sitting on LinkedIn to get this. That's their job. You're thinking nobody cares, but no, the industry is desperate to need freshers, to need interns. They're desperate. You guys have no idea how desperate they are, right? But they're actually desperate too. So finish your project, put your case studies out there, increase the social activity. Let LinkedIn know that you exist. Let your portfolio reach to a lot of people. Go and, there'll be a lot of these HRs, hiring managers. Go and visit their profiles. Just give them a visit. Don't even message them. Visit them. They post something, comment over there. Increase the activity. They will see your portfolio. Your profile views will keep increasing. They'll see a portfolio. They'll start messaging you. You got this? This is a very, very important trick. Yeah. The next thing is referrals. Wherever possible, use referrals. Why referrals are very important? Because referrals give trust. Let's say I want to hire someone. I'll obviously first immediately talk to all the people whom I already know and trust, because I can't risk working, because internship fresher itself is a very risky thing. So whom will I trust? I'll trust someone who can vouch for someone. So referrals is a very, very, very important thing when it comes to fresher hiring. In fact, not just fresher hiring, experience hiring, whatever it is. Referrals is a very, very important thing, because a referral means trust. So what do you do? The two things you can do: utilize existing referrals which you have, right? By giving your portfolio and all. You can't just get referrals by just saying, hey, please, bro, right from childhood, you are my friend. Why are you not referring and all? That's not enough. You need to have a good portfolio. You need to prove to them that I have a worthy portfolio. I have done it very well. You just send my profile to them and they like it, but you can give them trust that I'm a good person, whatever, right? Utilize those referrals. Go at the right timing and utilize those referrals. That's number one. Actually, before I close this, number one, please do not have this ego that I did not take anyone's help. I applied and got, I did not take anyone's help. Bullshit. Please do not have this attitude. I know a lot of people have this attitude. Please do not have this attitude. Please don't think, isn't it fair to apply and get selected? Isn't it very unfair to get a referral? It is fair to get a referral. That is how industry works. Because hiring is not about putting an examination, who is passing the examination. It's not like an IIT examination, or it is not like, all these exams, government exams and all what you have had in what you have seen. Hiring is very different. Hiring is about building trust. They need to trust. They're putting money. So trust is very important. Trust comes through referrals. So very important. The second point about referrals over here is building referrals. How do you build connects and make sure that people will refer you? How do you do that? What did you do in LinkedIn or whatever out there for them so that they actually go and give a fuck about you? What did you do? Did you invest yourself in that? Did you give a review about what they have done so that they can give you a view to you? Do something for them. Contribute in some manner to them so that they can also start looking at you. So building referrals is very important. You need to be like, hey, Anudeep, isn't it unfair? Isn't it like, doesn't it look like I am utilizing those people? This is not relationships. This is very straightforward. You want to join their company. Be upfront if you want, right? People, you have something to learn from them. You want them to refer to you. It's great, but you also engage and give something to them in return. I'm not saying bribing and all that stuff. I'm saying make sure that they also get some value out of you. Have some conversations, whatever it is, build the referrals. In fact, there are a lot of people who are just willing to help. There are people who you message on LinkedIn, they're willing to help with no expectation. Their expectation is to help people. They're good people. They want to help people. That is their expectation. They want to feel that they are helping people. That is what is the return they'll get. You can utilize that also. A lot of you are also like that, right? If your juniors come hey, I'm looking for this guidance, what to do, you yourself will genuinely tell them, right? You want to help them, you want to feel good telling them. So there are a lot of people out there who actually willing to help you, right? So ask questions, be curious, this, whatever, and build referrals, build connections and build referrals. They will in turn refer you. My entire career, guys, is based on referrals. I applied to 2 companies at 2 different stages, but I didn't join because I got a much better offer through referrals, right? A lot of people's careers I know, completely based on referrals. Very important. Okay, you noted these points: building referrals and using existing contacts and doing referrals. Okay, don't feel bad that you're utilizing them. Be upfront, tell them you're utilizing them, tell them what is that you can do for them, and tell them what is that they need to do for you. This is business, right? Okay, and which comes back to the point that is, so through referrals, what can also you'll realize is you'll also understand whether the company is a good fit for you or not. This is one of the biggest questions you have. How do I know if a company is actually a fit for me or not? By going and talking to these existing people, going and reading the work which they have already done. You have not put any effort. That's what you're missing right now. You have not put any effort to understand what the company is already doing right now. Go and look at their products. Go and look at their reviews. Go and talk to their existing employees. They'll talk. Their existing employees will talk. Probably they'll not talk about internal products and all, but they'll talk about the culture. Right? They'll tell you whether they're having a good experience, not having a good experience, all these things, they will talk to you. How, Anudeep, is there a platform for this, forum for this? Engage yourselves in those forums. Probably go and engage in another gamer Discord community where the people playing games from other places. You become friends. Talk to people. Build some friendships. Probably they can help you tomorrow. What are the opportunities you're creating yourself for people to know you? The more you sit in isolation and you're not contacting anyone, you're not building any relationships, it doesn't work like that. Trust cannot be built if you're sitting isolated. That is what I'm trying to say. Right?